Hey everyone, I'm going to show you guys a real quick, I guess, method for getting all of these kind of teeth types of things into the side of your shoe, on this side, on the lateral, and then on the medial profile here. Okay, because usually you can't put that in until the outsole view is done. And so and what exactly is it really referring to? How much detail do you really put in there? So what I'm going to do is I will just show you real quick kind of how I do that, all right? So the first thing that you're going to need to do is actually get your outsole view done first, okay? We won't need this here. You don't need that. And really what we're going to look at here is just these three. This is 100% scaled artwork, okay? Always working that. And I'm also going to now put on my rulers, okay? Just like that, so I can have everything lined up at the bottom. And nudge that up with my arrow. I can just delete these for now. Don't need it. Anyways, so what I'll do here as well is I'm going to just take one more square and I'll do this. Okay, I'm gonna cut it for a second. I'll just delete that one. Okay, paste that. Now, really, the main thing that you want to worry about as you're making your medial and your lateral views is just getting the right thickness, okay? I recommend to you guys probably doing, especially with your athleisure sandals, I wouldn't do any more than maybe 4 millimeters thick, okay? You could have kind of 2 millimeter lugs and then 2 millimeter base web, okay? So let's do this view here first. This is our lateral view, okay? And just for sake of better visualization, I'm just going to send that to the very back so we don't have to look at it. Okay, so let's kind of make sure that we're lined up first on the bottom. Okay, pretty good. Good enough. And then let's look at the top real quick. Right there. Okay, that's good. So, right here, I think somebody just thrown a little draft into it or something. Let's do a, oops. There we go. And just to get exact, sure. Anyways, I won't waste time. But it's good enough for now, okay, just to show. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look here at the lateral side. Now, the way that you put these notches in, because if you look at an actual shoe on the side, you see all sorts of other lugs, even when you kind of peer into that little window, right? Like, if you were to look into this window from the exact side, and I were to make like a little arrow, you know, kind of coming into here, I mean, that's a lot of extra stuff to kind of illustrate, right? So if you were sort of looking into here, you know, maybe I'll put a little arrowhead on it. You know, if you were kind of looking into there, you would see like a whole bunch of extra stuff. Well, it's a terrible arrow. There we go. Anyways, the arrow failed. But you get it, right? So you see kind of how you would actually see other things. We aren't going to reference any of that. All we're going to like just show is just these little windows here on the side. And then you don't have to put anything behind. Okay, so the easiest way to do that is just start here. Here's what I like to do. In this particular case. Some other times you may have to do something different. And also on this one here, part of the reason why this is clicking kind of odd is go to my view, snap to pixel, and then view one more time, snap to point. Super annoying. But now, okay, so Control Y, Command Y, I should be able to just click this and get it to snap onto those points pretty well. Okay, so here's what I'll do now. Okay, I just grabbed those two with the white arrow, and I'm just going to drag that out this way here. Okay, just so it's kind of in between these two. And you'll see why in a little bit later. But what I'll do now is I'm just going to go across on each one and do all of that. And you can kind of fast forward if you need to, because I'm just going to take time here. And just do this one more time. You can also kind of drag one down and line it up there. And sometimes it's pretty good, especially once you get down a little lower. Might be a little better. But if you want to be pretty exact, you know, then maybe I would drag it up a little too much. Let's do both. Go. And sometimes it's also easier to turn off your the stroke, or just turn off all the fill and stroke like what I'm doing here, and kind of nudge that one up. That one's kind of being picky. There. Right there. And then hopefully, now in some cases like this, right, where on the next one that we'll get to here, what you'll see is, as I turn this off, you'll see that there's actually like another lug here. You could throw that in if you want. I will, but the modeler will really understand so much of the other information that you're putting in there. Now, it may seem counterintuitive, right, while I'm making a block here where there's not one here, but hopefully it'll make sense in a second. All right, so kind of just go here and drag this on up to there. Pretty soon I should be able to start kind of, and as long as they're real close, that modeler looks a lot more at the bottom, right, of the like the outsole of the shoe, as opposed to, you know, really about anything else. And so if you're a little bit off on these, for them, that's okay, for the modeler. But I hope you guys will take some time, and depending on how good or bad of a mood I'm in, maybe I'll grade it a little bit harder, right? So just try to just take a little time and line them up. There's another one about right there. Let's do another one here. And I can't just duplicate because I have kind of a an uneven pattern on mine, and so it wouldn't actually duplicate quite correctly, you know. So go there. The widths would probably be accurate, but the spacing sometimes is not. So, well, let's see. Yeah, see, it already starts to get off a little bit. And so, go here. There. There. Almost done with this side. And then I'll show you kind of what I'm going to do. I can at least duplicate it, kind of get them in the right place, sort of. And right here, line that up, and I'm going to have to start scaling it again because it's starting to foreshorten itself. Just like that. Yeah, and this right here. There. Whoop. There. There, good. Good. So what we'll do now is I'm going to take this and turn back on my my lines, just all my fill and everything. I'm just going to use my white arrow and be very careful. I'm going to grab all of those kind of endpoints and just line them up, right? Now the next thing that I need to do is I need to cut all of those pieces just out of the halfway point on here, right? And so that right there probably about the halfway point, but let's be exact about it. Let's throw on a little something. Oh, 1 millimeters. Okay. And let's do something that is 2. Okay, because we want the base web to be 2. And okay, so it's 2. Let's line this up here. There. Let's actually grab both. Kind of move it. Oh, move it right there. And then move that one right there. Okay. So we have that lined up. And I'm just going to use that as a quick reference point here. And I'll throw that right there. Okay. So now we have a guide in place. Okay. So I'll grab this one more time. It's like this. Okay. And just nudge, nudge. Nudge her on over. And I guess we'll kind of grab it now. We can kind of just real gently grab it like that. And what I'll do now is I'm going to just take this real quick. I'm going to copy one just because it's a lot of work. It's a big operation. And right here. And then grab all those and then shift click with that, my white arrow, and I'm just going to hit that. That's the second one over, called minus front, and since those were laying on the front of this other object, whatever is the furthest object back gets like everything else cut off of it, right? And so that's all you really have to do to make that view. And you guys can just do that if you want. They will understand, you know, if, for example, like what that gap is. They know it won't go all the way across. And so that's your lateral view. And then you'll just simply do kind of the same thing over on the medial side. So hopefully that makes sense. I won't bore you guys with the medial side as well. But yeah, that should explain it. Let me know if you have any questions.